Now to Chile, where voters have overwhelmingly rejected a progressive new constitution in a referendum. The proposed constitution was aimed at boosting the rights of indigenous people and women. It would have been replaced, the one adopted during the Pinochet era. Chile's current president has vowed to press ahead with efforts to overhaul the constitution. More than 60% of people who cast their ballots voted against the rewrite.
Victory for the no camp. Chilean voters rejected the proposed new constitution by a far wider margin than polls predicted. They said no to what would have been one of the most progressive constitutions in the world, with a focus on social welfare, gender equality, environmental protection and indigenous rights.
It is a really surprising triumph, and that means Chile is a country that rejects communism, Marxism, and the attempt of communism to seize power.
At Santiago's emblematic Italy Square, there's disappointment for backers of the new constitution. After strong initial support, polls showed the Yes campaign losing momentum in recent weeks, with voters worried about market instability and how to pay for new benefits. Observers also point to a disinformation campaign. Leftist President Boric is vowing to go back to the drawing board.
I make an honest appeal to all political forces to put Chile ahead of any differences they may have, and to agree as soon as possible on the deadlines and parameters of a new constitutional process.
For now, Chile is left with the 1980 constitution drawn up under the dictatorship of Augusto Pinochet. Centre-left and right-wing parties that supported the No campaign have agreed to negotiate to prepare a new text.
For more, let's bring in Miriam Gack, our Latin America expert in Bonn. Miriam, the new constitution is regarded as more, well, what would have been the new constitution was regarded as more progressive and inclusive. Why have people voted against it?
Yes, Terry, would have been one of the most progressive constitutions in the world, as you said. I think it might be that this constitution was even too progressive. Chile is considered a very conservative country, which you can see in even if they have a left government, a left president, parliament, Congress is dominated by the right-wing forces. And the exception was this constitutional convention, which was elected in May 2021, with a vast majority of left civil society representatives, and the conservative parties didn't even reach a third of the seats in this convention. So this kind of promoted a mistrust in the text, and the work of the Constitutional Convention also was looked at with very critical eyes, and they also produced some negative headlines. So I think there was it was maybe a too big step ahead to transform Chile into a new country, unfortunately.
A big step and a big document. I mean, the Constitution is hugely complicated. How well informed was the population about the details of this new Constitution? Were voters subjected to much misinformation?
Indeed, they were. The conservative parties and those who opposed to this new project really, they ran a massive campaign on social media with fake news, misinformation and misinterpretation of what the Constitution proposed. Let's take some examples. For example, you mentioned the abortion was supposed to be legalized by this new Constitution. The opponents to the new Constitution made out of this that abortion would be legalized up to the 9th month of pregnancy in Chile, which is definitely false. Also, they argued that private property would be forbidden and people would be expropriated by their private homes, for example. Even things like the national anthem and the national flag would be abolished. So there was a lot of misinformation, and people were targeted by social media. There is a deep mistrust in Chile in both political institutions like parties, but also in traditional media. And ironically, it was really traditional media and state bodies like the government, for example, who run an information campaign to really make people familiar with the text. But the text itself, with 178 pages, is way too long to really understand it.
Miriam, thank you very much. That was DW's Latin America expert, Miriam Guerca.